Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Most Searched. This is a show where Warren and I discuss about the most searched things throughout the duration of the week. Might as well start with the guy behind me, Shia LaBeouf. Warren, you know why he's trending. Because he has... LaBeouf. Because he has tattooed his entire chest for a role in an upcoming movie called
The tax collector. Yeah, I was going to say. I almost said, is the debt collector or tax collector?
No, tax collector, definitely.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Based on the fact
David Ayer is the director, and he also worked with him on the movie Fury.
Yeah, well, which was boss, and he was told to shower at a point. I was just saying, due to the name and what he's done. Obviously, I don't know what the exact role of the movie is, but based on the fact he tattooed his whole front body, torso, I would assume debt collector kind of fits more of the name. But anyway, it's not the point. I think that's commitment, obviously, but at the same token, I'm confused because now I wouldn't say that hinders him for other movie roles because times have changed. It used to be if you had tattoos, you were only like a biker or a pirate or a prisoner or some shit like that, or a murderer, whatever. So now you can get you play a movie role with a priest and he has tattoos and whatnot. You know, it's not. Things have changed. I'm just like, the whole purpose of movie magic is to make it look like you have this stuff, so that once you go off set, you're back to yourself.
You are yourself, yeah.
Yeah. Now,
but this is somewhat something that you could argue that he's been going through. You know, is that
at this point he's been going through something every second week.
Exactly. But I suppose it comes down to that. Okay, you got to talk. There's something stuck in my throat. That is
We're doing
like
it
you were
live.
meant to talk. You weren't meant to. You weren't meant to laugh. You're meant to continue. Anyway, no. So I think this is the thing. I think we talk about identity and knowing yourself, and I think he relates with himself to such an extent that he is an actor, but he's not an actor in a sense that, there's a camera, he's an actor, and off screen he goes home. I think he believes he genuinely is on and off, and that is his identity. Which also, and what I mean by that is that he sees himself as an artist beyond the extent of a cinema or as an actor. He sees himself that whatever he's portraying out there is something to be consumed by the public, and it is a moment of art that he's putting out there. And I think him going that extra mile, like he's done previously, the same director mentioned, obviously he mentioned he is the most committed to body and soul. Obviously body is a clear one in this scenario. Yeah. But in the previous movie in Fury, he had a tooth removed, which is pretty interesting. I don't even know if you saw that tooth removed. But apparently the chest tattoo, allegedly the artist who was doing it for him, said this started in the beginning of his movie in Holes when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
So he started getting this done way back
funny.
then.
I actually said that a few days ago to a friend. I'm like, all these problems started with holes. As a joke.
He was left out in the desert for far too long. He was eating radishes or whatever it was. That was his diet for, I don't know, throughout the duration of the movie. And he was talking to lizards.
He couldn't control the fro. Nothing, bro. Everything was...
Nothing. It was all over the place. And I'm still confused. Look at him. He's just like, just do it. He thinks that's his method acting. Just do it. Yeah. So it's an interesting thing. I mean, this guy, like, does he know no boundaries? I think he's just so committed. Like, for example, when he's going home after set now during this movie, he's the same person when he gets home. Not Shia LaBeouf. He is Creeper, who is the protagonist in The Tax Collector. That's who he is when he goes home. I'm guaranteed.
Yeah, no, I don't think he kind of goes out of character, at least not to a large extent. He probably keeps whether he's got a scowl, the way he looks or the way he talks, he probably keeps a lot of that, maybe the way he moves. Obviously, there's things you can't change about yourself naturally, whatever you do, but for the most part, yeah.
I don't know, ask Khloe Kardashian. She might say otherwise. Or Kim Kardashian. Anyway, sorry.
So I think, I don't know. It's peculiar. I guess it's cool. Like I said, if it's a choice, maybe he wanted it regardless. A full body. He wanted to do this till at certain points, but he couldn't because of his movie roles. And now this one allows him to do it. Like I was saying with the movie magic, the purpose is to make it look like you have it and then walk away. Now the problem he's going to have is for every movie role, then if he has to cover it up, he's now doing movie magic to look normal. Or sorry, normal. If you want to put society, what society deems normal, he's now going back to his original self. So the time spent, that's the way I look at it. The time spent getting a real tattoo and money spent. Now you're going to double that time and money being spent for them to take it away for something else. Where normally they would just put like a, almost, I don't want to say a sticker, but it's the easiest way to explain. You know, so
a temporary
just put it there, take up maybe an hour or two, and then it's done. Now you're going to spend more than that, airbrushing, painting over, covering this, doing that to remove it for other roles if they need to remove it. So I don't know. Look, he's committed. It's cool. He's into it. Fine. If it works for the role, which apparently it does, great. Does the guy he's playing is it based on a true story? This
I have no idea. I didn't go into detail of the movie at all.
Because I wonder if that's why he did it, because the guy had it, and that's why he's done it. Which again, cool. But now
he's a duplicate.
It's a doppelganger.
You've seen the guy in real life. Yo. Yeah. No, so
we have
I don't
the same nipples. Nipple brothers.
He might get those done too. Watch out. That might be the next thing in the news.
Chain it from there.
I think that if you had to compare anyone's tattoo story, not that tattoos should have a story every time you get one, but I'm of the opinion if I would like to get one, it should be somewhat symbolic. Again, that's just my opinion. So if it's for him just getting, and like the tattoo artist mentioned, he started doing this throughout the whole movie. This is when this journey began for him. So if he's getting it for his own purpose, it's somewhat then significant to say, okay, cool. I got this tattoo based on this movie even for this role, but it's still for himself. And that's a whole different conversation, because then he's actually just doing it because that's something to remember the role, something to remember that moment in time that he's somewhat thoroughly enjoying. He might be really enjoying this character that he's playing. Or it could just be this idea that he's had for a long time. He's wanted to get his whole tattoo or chest tattooed. And now this role gives him an opportunity to leverage that, going, I was going to do it anyway. Let me actually just get it done properly in association. And it somewhat contributes to my whole overall Wikipedia page as an actor in terms of being an art house cinema actor rather than just like your commodity, normal commercial actors. Because that's what he's going for. I think that's, if you had to ask him in terms of differentiating himself from the rest of the actors in Hollywood and how he stands out, I think that's kind of the opinion he would have of himself, is that he doesn't do things normally. He is somewhat different, and he is an artist as opposed to just an actor.
Yeah, maybe also this was the first movie where it was in his contract where he's like, I want to get a full body tattoo. And they're like, okay. We'll pay for it.
or it could be that easy as well. So yeah,
he just finally got it over. It's like, finally they're letting me do it and they're paying for it.
I mean, that's also another good reason to get a tattoo though. Like if you don't have to cover it yourself, not at your expense, it's going to be a good memory. You know, it's going to be done really well. It's going to be free. Then why not, I suppose?
Yeah. Well, obviously, you know, you and I both know we don't have any tattoos. Not that it doesn't bug me if people have it. For myself, it's a personal thing. It's just peculiar to do it. I guess based on how we were raised, I suppose. It's just something that hasn't interested me.
Oh, it's interesting because I love tattoos, man. I love seeing them. I love seeing them on people. I love seeing the craft. For example, I would love to give people tattoos. I would like to become a well-known tattoo artist without having tattoos, but I doubt anyone's going to come to me if I don't have any tattoos. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could practice on pigs and that sort of thing, but yeah, I really appreciate that sort of side, like the artistry in tattooing, and that, you know, people. Also, another fun fact: they say people, and I say people, mainly males, get tattoos because it's a form of peacocking, and this is based on studies.
I thought that was gymming. And then money.
Well, it's a combination. It's adding to your aesthetic, whatever you have. You know, it's another.
I suppose,
but it comes to the point as to why you and I possibly don't have those sort of things, or why we don't have tattoos, is because I struggle to identify myself as a person with tattoos, if that makes sense, based on the ideas that I have of a person that has tattoos. Not that I have many, but I think it's cool. I think it's really cool that you can just go and do that. But I know if I had to get a tattoo myself, it'd be there.
Digging a hole for yourself, Claudio. You're digging a hole for yourself.
No, 2 days later, I'd regret it and I'd want to change it. I'm a perfectionist. So when I do anything creatively, I want it perfect. And I think I suppose that defeats the purpose. If you don't want it imperfect, then that's also great. I just think I'd regret it after
I
having
don't
like a
think
week.
anyone wants an imperfect permanent mark.
I don't know. I do. Like, I think I know
they go planning. They go in planning or hoping for something that isn't.
No. Of course they do. Of course, there are those super cool like doodle tattoos that you get.
Yeah,
but
but that's different. But then again, it's still technically planned. It's the idea is to do something peculiar. But when you're going for like a perfect tiger and it comes out looking like a gummy bear with stripes, you're like, well, okay, okay, we've got to fix this.
Yeah. But I suppose the next question is, where's the best place to get a tattoo if you had to get one?
Me personally.
Yeah. Don't think too hard about this. Okay. If you had to date someone, down your ribs. Why down your ribs?
Yeah.
Apparently that's quite sore. Apparently.
Yeah. No, because
why would you get one there?
Because again, I'd only get a tattoo for sentimental reasons, as we've discussed. So for me, it's still personal. So I don't need everyone to see it all the time.
Yeah.
So it will be visible, obviously, beach time or whatever the case is. But I suppose, that's mainly that. It's still personal. And based on whatever I'm going to do or whatever I do with it, I would probably require a bit of surface area, some property development space, if I can put it that way. And I'm not a big guy.
Real estate. Just say real
That's
estate.
the word. I couldn't think of it. So I'm not a big guy in general. I don't have like big biceps and forearms and that kind of stuff. So putting it on my arm, I would look like, for me, in my head, I would look like a tweeb if I had this thing all over my arm and I'm a skinny arm. So I'd rather have something where it will fit better. Aesthetically, it should look nice, obviously. And then just more, like I said, it's more personal. I don't need everyone to see it. That's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. So I suppose we can move on to the next topic. But before we do, I just want to say, if anyone has tattoos out there in any place, please tell us if you got it for sentimental reasons or if you just got it for the sake of getting it, and tell us where you think the best place for a tattoo is, because one of these videos we're actually going to get Warren eventually getting a tattoo, and then the sequel to that video is going to be his dad seeing the tattoo or revealing the tattoo to his dad. And I think that's going to go viral in itself. Okay, next topic.
He'll get it removed. That's why. That's why.
But it'll be